Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference gets underway today. Software updates and revamped MacBooks are expected, but with the stock lower year to date and the App Store under scrutiny, there is a lot riding on this event. Joining us right now with the preview is Dan Ives. He's managing director at Wedbush Securities. And Dan, this is usually a bit of a pep rally for all the Apple app developers. Is it going to be different this time, given the backdrop of this huge battle with Epic Games?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is really the lifeblood for developers, especially on the software side. And there's more scrutiny, right? If you look at the Epic Games battle, almost a Game of Thrones going on with Epic, and of course, the regulatory scrutiny, both in the Beltway as well as the EU. I mean, comes at a pivotal time. And it's really Cook and Cupertino showing software developers the path forward and laying the groundwork for the next stage of growth. That's the key.
It's a virtual event, so we're not going to be able to read the crowd. How will we know how people are reacting to this, how the app developers really feel? Because we hear from some of the big ones, but what do you think this group is thinking right now overall?
Yeah, and you definitely lose something as we've seen over the last year on the virtual side. But that's really where over the coming days and throughout the week, I think what we do is really try to get a sense from the developers, if they're successful in laying out iOS 15, did they get what they want? Do they view this as sort of the foundation of the next growth, for their own businesses? And it continues to be, really a catch-22 when it comes to Apple, because developers, as frustrated as they are sometimes with Apple, they hold the keys to the kingdom. And this really is laying the groundwork, which what I believe is playing out as the biggest product cycle we've seen in the last decade in Cupertino.
So what else are you going to be watching today? I mean, actually, first, just on the App Store itself, there have been some people who have suggested that maybe the profits there are as much as something like 40% of Apple's pre-tax income. Do you think those numbers are accurate? And what do you think happens, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now?
Yeah, Nat, I mean, I think that's in the general vicinity. And you look at that services, that's a $65 billion annual revenue stream. And we believe ultimately the valuation of that services business is over $1 trillion. And going forward, that's why it's going to be so important for Apple to keep this crown jewel, but also make sure that whether it's, in the core case or in the regulatory, I think there continues to be worries. Are they going to have to lower their fees? And I think that's been an overhang. We think that's about $15 overhang in the stock alone, just as this core case plays out and the regulatory scrutiny continues to heighten.
So you said that this is one of the biggest product development cycles you think you've seen coming out of Cupertino. What are you talking about, and what does that mean for the stock?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about from a hardware perspective, and we do believe that they released the Mac Pro, the 16-inch and the 14-inch, and you take a step back, the super cycle, despite the stock sort of being on a treadmill, it's playing out. I mean, we believe this will be the strongest iPhone year Apple's ever had. And then you look what you see on the iPad, ultimately on the Mac, and then ultimately we believe AirPods and some other things are coming around the table. And this is all, when you take a step back, you look next year, we think Apple Glasses, the AR, VR gets launched. And as we've talked about, 2024 Apple Car, we believe information starts to come out this summer around partnerships on that front.
So do you buy the stock here real quickly, Dan?
I view it as a golden opportunity. I think we sit here a year from now, we're looking at a $3 trillion market cap. This is just a painful digestion period. I think it'll be short-lived.
All right, that's a bold call. We'll follow up with you. But, Dan, thanks for your time today. Good to see you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.